Last time on Edgeworth Investigations.
Wait, what do you mean blood dripping off the murder weapon? I was holding a wallet. You're saying I killed him with a travel wallet.
Hey guys, Ryden here, and welcome back to Edgeworth Investigations. So I've been away for a little while, a lot of trying to fix this and a lot of trying to survive. But anyways, apparently we were only a few moments from the end of this chapter, so that's kind of funny. Okay, maybe more than a few moments.
So explain this to me. What does this suitcase have to do with the murder?
I believe it's pretty safe to say the killer used the suitcase in some manner. Such as to move something, perhaps.
But aren't you just talking about the cloth, then?
That alone is too small. A larger item would be needed to move... would be needed to move what I'm thinking of. The thing I believe the killer used this suitcase to transport is... the prosecutor's badge. Little do they know that the prosecutor's badge is infinite space. Wait, so what is it? The thing I believe the killer used this suitcase to transport is the statue, right? Unless he put his body in the suitcase and then moved him into the elevator. But let's try the statue? That doesn't really make much sense because... well, whatever. I'll try it. If not, then it's the body. Miss Melee, wake up.
Did you say something just now, Mr. Edgeworth? I mean, I don't know, but I don't think that's it.
Oh, no. No. I was just seeing if you're awake. My real explanation begins now. Is she really asleep? I like her design. Crime scene notes. The body. There we go. Something that would fit inside a suitcase that is also covered in blood. Sounds like a dead body, doesn't it? I fly suitcase? Yeah. I was calling it Ifly that entire time. Bloody cloth. This track that's playing right now, though, you might not be able to hear it depending on how well I mix the sound, but this singular track that's playing right now plays in almost every single game, and I don't really understand why they haven't changed this along with all the other soundtracks, but whatever. But, in light of the situation, I'd like to say that Mr. Hicks was moved into the elevator from someplace else, which means that the murder was committed in an entirely different location.
So you're saying that after moving the body in the elevator, the killer brought the suitcase in here and just left it?
Exactly. What is it?
Nothing. It's just that I was thinking about what Miss Rhoda said about coming here for something.
Excuse me, Mr. Edgeworth. Who is this? Oh, it's her again.
I wanted to give you a bit more time, but I'm afraid I wasn't able to convince the captain. I'm very sorry, Mr. Edgeworth, but the captain feels that he's allowed you ample time. He says that he'd appreciate it if you could wrap it up here and return to your seat.
I understand his sentiments, however, if I'm not allowed to complete my investigation, the crime scene may become contaminated by the time we land.
What is that supposed to mean, Edgeworth?
It may become contaminated? If I must stop, then I insist I be allowed to oversee the preservation of the two sites. Under your supervision, of course.
If that's your only condition, then I believe we can accommodate your wishes. I'm here to assist you in any way I can, Mr. Edgeworth.
It's been like a week since I've recorded, so I don't remember the voices I gave to half these people.
Sounds fun. We can camp out and watch over everything together.
I have proof that the real crime scene was not in the lounge. And I have enough evidence to prove myself to be innocent of any wrongdoing. Do you, Edgeworth? And yet, regarding what Miss Melee... I'm just gonna call her Melee. I know it's supposed to be like Melee or whatever, but it's Melee now. Reminded me about Miss Tenario. Or Tenairo. I can't allow my investigation to end here. The truth must come to light. So, I've heard varying opinions from the comment section about how much people like this game. And it ranges from, oh wow, this is the second best game in the series right behind its sequel, or this game is terrible and has nothing to it. Like,
it's either it's the best or it's the worst. And that's kind of weird. Oh no, is that who I think it is in the background? I can already tell. It's Fatty Num Nums. I know that once we had landed, I'm supposed to let the local police take over. And thanks to Miss Taniro, and Miss Melee, I was able to preserve the crime scene. But I just can't shake it. I wasn't able to talk with Miss Tenario in private. Goddamn, I'm still saying it. So I'm left wondering, just what was she up to? Why did she do what she did? There must be a way for me to continue my investigation without going inside the plane. Edgeworth, vision activate! I've been expecting you, Miles Edgeworth. What? Von Karma! You're not dead! Franziska, I thought you were still in Germany. I go where I am needed. Oh, wow, okay. I already have a voice for her that fits her perfectly. And wherever there are criminals to be caught. Her name is Franziska von Karma. The daughter of my mentor, Manfred von Karma. She, like myself, is a prosecutor. Are you heading up this case? It would be a bit of a relief if you are. Don't you try to flatter me, Miles Edgeworth. I'm placing you under arrest. What? It's quite frustrating, actually. I had hoped to exact my revenge on you in a different venue. But I'll have to take what I can get. I never thought I'd see the day when a disciple of the House von Karma would become such a criminal. Have you no shame? Oh wow, she doesn't even believe him for a second. Wait! It has all been a big misunderstanding. I didn't kill the victim. A misunderstanding. I heard all about the murder all over the police radio from the captain himself. You waited for the victim on the first floor and then beat him to death. Franziska, do you honestly believe that I killed that man? You shouldn't have to think about it. I suppose I should reserve judgment until after I've investigated this for myself. What happened at the end of the second game? Like, there's a touching scene with those two together, and Von Karma even cried. And now all of a sudden she's like, I am literally ready to arrest you, Edgeworth. I can put your arrest on hold until then. Then as it should be. I don't need a lecture on how to perform my duties from you of all people. To be perfect in every way, the fulfillment of that creed alone is all I strive for. I have my own creed, which I must fulfill. So why don't we solve this together? Like friends and humans, and you won't whip me. I have to get going. The crime scene awaits. Don't you dare leave town. Trust me, I had no intention to. Franziska Gumshoe. Wait, what? Franziska Gumshoe? Did I just read that right? I wish I could go back and look at the text. Yes, sir? Oh, okay. Oh, alright. Too slow. Oh! Look at that sprite. He's like, why do you always do this? I can't even file for abuse because you are a police. Listen up. I'm leaving you in charge of watching this man. Don't mess up, understand? But Mr. Edgeworth, I'm supposed to guard him? A simple yes or no, detective. Oh no, I worked so hard to get... Edgeworth's like, I worked so hard to get him away from here. And yet he's still here, bugging me. I understand, yes sir. You just leave it to me. Miles Edgeworth. If you interfere with my investigation, I'll arrest you on the spot. Are we clear? It's really hard to talk with headphones on. Now then, if you'll excuse me. Alright then, bye. Good to see you again, Mr. Edgeworth. Boy, am I glad to see you're okay. Thank you, Detective Gumshoe. I believe in you, sir. You can lean on me. I'll get you through this. I have to admit, I'm a bit curious as to what Franziska is up to. Maybe I should ask the good detective. Very well, in that case, I have a few questions for you. This feels so much better with the controller. Like, oh. Let's talk to some of the other people in here before we talk to him. Lunchland. Lunchland? What? Not bad. I guess it's gotten big enough to warrant its own branch shops. Which one should I go with? I recommend the Airport Special World Flat. Wait, I remember Airport Special. World flags lunchboxes, only available for a limited time? We have a variety of lunchboxes made up to look like different countries' flags.
I wonder if they're aiming to take Lunchland to the international market. I don't know what that'd do with anything. This man was in first class with me. He was quite shaken up by the whole affair.
I did it. I made the whole flight. I'm not scared of turbulence anymore.
He must have been pretty scared. He's repeating the same thing over and over to himself. And he wet himself.
What about this guy? Is it... Wait, are these two who I think they are? This kid... Oh no. Well, we'll get to them later.
Come on, Gumshoe. Just spew words out of your mouth like you normally do. Doesn't have to make sense. Just give me the facts. So how's the initial investigation going?
We just shipped the body off to the coroner's office.
And we're taking sentiments now, sir. It sounds like Francisca. She was always good at quick responses to a case.
I'd say she was a little too quick, sir.
Oh, how so?
I rushed over as soon as I got the word of the affair, sir. But somehow, when I got here, Miss Von Karma was already here barking out orders at everyone. It was kind of creepy, as though she knew there had been a murder or something. And I'd come in advance to await your flight's arrival.
That is sort of odd. She did show up rather quickly and out of the blue.
I think it would be a really interesting thing to see an ace attorney, like a good ace attorney character that has been proven, like, not guilty by Phoenix or something, and turn around and kill someone. I'm sure there's something in there like that by now, but...
Plus, I still don't know why she's here in America.
Oh, okay, we're giving country names now. Here in America, does that imply that we already live in America?
There must be some backstory to all this.
Miss Von Karma just kind of popped up at the prosecutor's office about a week ago, sir. Something about chasing down leads related to a certain incident.
No details.
It's kind of top secret, so she can't talk about it. Even with me, sir.
Yes, because Gumshoe, you're at the pinnacle of authority. Knowing her, the only type of talking she likes to do is with her whip.
Sadly, not in a sexual way either. Just a normal way.
Wait, is there even a normal way to use a whip?
Sir, are you talking? Shut up, Gumshoe. I'll deduct your pay again.
Plus, I doubt the top secret part was what stopped her from talking to you, Detective. Although, I wonder if her case has anything to do with mine.
Anyway, that's about all the info I have, sir. We should find out more as we investigate.
Yes, it is high time to resume my investigation. Starting with talking to the people involved in this case afresh.
Gumshoe, I swear to... No, Gumshoe, just stay here. Stop fall...
But sir, I have no friends and nothing to do. God damn it. Okay, fine. This child seems to be happily enjoying the sight of so many planes.
I'm all excited to see so many planes too. Or as many planes too. Just look at the size of these things.
Do you like planes too, mister? Yes, and I hate children. Go away. The balance between the main wings and the tail wings is really something, huh? Huh, it seems that this child derives his pleasure from a different aspect.
Oh, but I've also got a thing for the shape of wings too.
Here, mister, you can stand next to me. So, about that plane's wing.
Psst, thank you, Detective, for leaving me out of this conversation.
Okay, I'm afraid. Is this Fatty Num-Nums? Is this who I think it is? Looking from behind, I've seen this man somewhere before.
Nom nom nom. In Soviet... Oh, God, it is him. In Soviet Russia, world flag lunchboxes eat Jew. Mr. Edgeworth, we gotta get him some water. Found it, lol.
Oh, I feel a wave of creative powers coming on. It's over 9,000. Oh my god. I want to punch him in the face. For my next elite move, it's gonna be the Steel Samurai Warrior of Neo-Old Tokyo. Versus the World Samurai Champion of the Earth. It's gonna rock soars so many box soars. God damn it. I hate even, like, voicing this man.
Whew, good thing it was a false alarm, right, Mr. Edgeworth?
So the Steel Samurai is finally getting a movie. Completely ignoring me as usual. Well, oh, okay, we can switch areas like this. Everyone's all here. Just like Cop Man in sunglasses. It looks like discount Godo.
So, you must be the captain.
Why, yes, I am, and who might you be?
I am the prodigy prosecutor Franziska von Karma, and I have a few questions for you. Don't you dare, Captain, getting friendly with another woman. I'll never forgive you if you do.
But what are you talking about? I only have my eyes on you, my dear Cammy. I wouldn't bet money on our dear Captain to be much of a reputable person. I'm sure you don't want to ask the Captain some questions, sir? He was in the cockpit the entire time. I highly doubt he would know anything of use. Anyway, I like to leave that type of witness to Franziska and her whip. I'm surprised they just let us go. Ah! Oh man, I wish that were me. Oh no. I don't want to have to talk to you ever again. I completely forgot the accent I gave him.
Now see here.
Ah! Sorry, I'm sorry.
How long do you intend to hold me? It is impossible for me to be the criminal, I told you.
Mr. LeBlanc.
Oh, it is you. Tell this man to stop stopping me from going. Time is money. I don't even have 1 second of wasteful time to spend.
Okay, let's talk to him and get it over with. Did you finish taking his statement yet? Yep, all done, sir.
I do not concern if you're not done examining the cargo hold. I want my cargo back. If you make a single scratch on my art, you will pay.
Well, your art's shit and it belongs in the garbage can.
Art? What sort of art?
Mr. LeBlanc is an art dealer, so he's got a bunch of artwork.
Wow.
One thing I'm really not happy with in the Ace Attorney series, though, is I feel like... I feel like the amount of artists as suspects is just ridiculous. Or the amount of art-involved cases. I don't know. I feel like they should just be drawing from more than... I'm probably just being picky here. Mr. LeBlanc is an arch dealer. Yeah, arch dealer. Yeah, I deal in high-quality arches. There's practically a mountain of them, large and small.
From folk costumes to stone statues, I sell all kinds of arts.
Folk costumes? Speaking of which, Mr. LeBlanc's hat. It kind of looks like that other piece of cloth. Oh, I didn't notice that. Good thing he pointed that out. Maybe I'll present it to him and see what he says. Hey, yo, you seen this?
Mr. LeBlanc, can you please take a look at this for me?
Oh, it's Borgidian cloth.
As I suspected, your hat is made of the same material, I suppose.
Yes, of course. This fabric is so famous. Orders come from over the seas for more. He did not even flinch at the blood on it. Then this is the cargo you were talking about earlier.
No. My cargo is... This time is many gigantic. You detective, when can I have my cargo moved?
You can get your cargo back when we're done investigating, pal.
The stubbornness of you. Police, it's no good. And it is no good that the attendant refuses to exit the attendance room, too.
The attendant? I wonder if she's talking about Miss Tenario. Oh, I didn't finish talking to him. Okay, fluffy douche, let's talk. What did you mean by that attendant, Mr. LeBlanc?
She was taken into the attendance room for her interview. And then they've still not come out. They make no sign of coming out either. I was finished with my own interview much earlier, quicker than her.
Why is Miss Tenario's interview the only one taking up so much time?
Miles Edgeworth, you were given free rein to examine the plane, weren't you?
Yes, I was able to obtain the cooperation of the flight attendants. Speaking of attendants, I'd like to speak with Miss Tenario. It's Tenario. Sorry, guys. It's too late. I wonder if you might grant me permission to enter the flight attendant's room.
Before I do, You still have to clear up a few issues surrounding your own circumstances. Oh really, logic battle time, bitch. I understand. You may have tricked those attendants with your sophisticated talking. But you can't pull the wool over my eyes, Mr. Edgeworth. Oh, you bet I can. Francisca's logic. Let's not complicate things, and let's go to the most obvious conclusion. The scene of the crime was here, in the very lounge the body was discovered. From the time the victim was seen calling for an attendant until his body was found. The only person in this lounge the entire time was you, Miles Edgeworth. This unmistakably makes you the likeliest suspect. The likeliest suspect, Francisca. Do you have a problem with that? No, but it's not like you to use such vague wording. You are usually a bit more absolute and whippy. You haven't whipped me once this time. I'm simply trying to watch out for you. Or is my kindness too hard for you to comprehend? Thank you, but your leniency is unnecessary, for I will prove my innocence soon enough. If I want to continue my investigation, I'll have to break her line of logic fast. So the scene of the crime was here, in the very lounge the body was discovered. That's not true. I mean, I could get this wrong, but since we just discovered the whole suitcase thing... There we go. I feel like that should make a sound when he's tapping his head. It would appear that you did not have all the information you needed after all. And what does that mean? I found a nice piece of evidence just before I was forced to stop investigating. A piece that proves that the body was moved from a different location. The killer used this suitcase to move the victim's body. Meaning that the real scene of the crime is not this lounge at all. Objection! She has such a nice voice for, like, her attitude does not match her voice at all. She has such, like, a kind, happy voice. Now, who's the one rashly jumping to conclusions? Excuse me? All you did was find this piece of cloth inside the suitcase. That doesn't prove that the body was moved. It could be that the killer simply chose that suitcase as a good place to hide the cloth. I suspected you would come to that conclusion. It would seem I can't escape that easily. You should know better than that. Von Karma is perfect in every way. Ah, but did you know that the killer definitely wheeled the suitcase around at some point? As if there's proof of that. Where is proof that the suitcase was moved around? Easy! Actually, I don't know. It has wheels, but... what I'm thinking... No, not that. The cloth? Okay, yeah. Split during the turbulence looks like footprints and something being dragged. Got it. Take that! Eureka! It's something about his voice. The spilled grape juice in the front of the elevator. Yes, and I'd like to draw your attention to this area here. Where is the evidence that proves the killer dragged the suitcase through here? Da-na-na-na-na, it's right there. This mark here, wouldn't you say that it looks suspiciously like tracks from two wheels? I suppose. Further, there is also grape juice residue on the wheels of this suitcase. This means that the suitcase containing the victim's body definitely passed through here. I suppose this means that the killer did move the victim's body from somewhere else. I'm glad you've come to your senses. Oh god damn it. Not so fast, this still doesn't put you on the clear. Not by a long shot. I want the bottom eye slant thing. No, too bad. You prepared yourself and acquired the piggy bank before the plane hit the turbulence. And then you waited for the victim in the lounge where you beat him to death. Then, while you were in the elevator with the victim's body stuffed into the suitcase, the plane hit that patch of turbulence and outflew the body from within the suitcase. With no way out, you hastily put the suitcase back where you had taken it from, and pretended to discover the body. That's roughly what she said. It's a lot harder to talk in this accent than I remember. Not a bad bit of logic for something you thought of on the fly. Just what are you insinuating? That I will show you exactly how flawed your logic is. No matter how strong of a face you put on, not even you can hide your fears from me. I'll expose the flaws in her logic in one fell swoop. Francisca's Logic Part 2. Press. And how do you suppose I was able to take the piggy bank out of its display case? As I recall, the case was locked. That's easy. If the case was locked, you simply had to hit the glass, like this. Gumshoe. Does she actually just never whip Edgeworth? I never thought about that. Ow! You shattered my heart of glass. So she wants to talk about the in-flight shop and the, Mr. iFly bank, does she? That takes care of how do you obtain the murder weapon. And then you waited for the victim in the lounge, or you beat him to death. I feel like there's something wrong with this statement. I thought there wasn't any of the victim's blood found in the lounge. I thought you'd say that. What, did you think I wouldn't have noticed? I think you just found a way to cleverly hide the blood splattered in the lounge. By accidentally spilling grape juice on top of it. Are you accusing me of tampering with a crime scene now? I mean, it's not like we could have people come in and test that. I mean, you're just taking a guess. We'll see, won't we? Oh, okay, thank God. The forensic scientists are hard at work on that as we speak. And what do you propose I did after that? Well, you're in the elevator with the victim's body stuffed into the suitcase. That's nothing to really press. So I put the victim's body into the suitcase, and then where was I headed, Francisca? That's pretty obvious. You were bringing it to the first class where you could safely keep an eye on it. We're talking about this thing, you know. I hardly call it discreet or ordinary. Annoying brat. Well then, you were intending to leave it inside the elevator. But unfortunately for you, a wrench was thrown into your plans because the plane hit that patch of turbulence and out flew the body from within the suitcase. You know, that is a bit hard to believe. Like, because the plane shook a little, the latches on the suitcase became undone and the body flew out. That's really pushing it. You experienced turbulence on a flight before? Of course, many times. You get used to it after a while. The patch we hit was especially rough, and I passed out briefly, but only for a second. Good thing it was only for a sec, sir. If it had been, it'd been bad if you had really blanked out. Yeah, yes, indeed. Unfortunately, blanking out is exactly what got me into this mess in the first place. That's enough of your idle chatter. I'm not through with you, Mr. Edgeworth, or Miles Edgeworth. I keep wanting to call him Mr. Edgeworth. That's what Gumshoe keeps calling him. With no way out, you hastily put the suitcase back where you had taken it from. Hold it! If I really were a criminal, do you think I would be so easily caught? Well, yes, you are an idiot of your own kind. You are certainly in the middle of being caught right now. Yeah, never mind. I thought you were nice to me. I thought you weren't gonna hit me anymore. I have to find a contradiction fast, or I won't have much of my own hide left to save. I have to say, you are looking rather caught right now. And I tell you exactly what you did after that. You loitered around the lounge. Lounge. It's lounge, friend. Shut up, I will whip you again. And pretended to be the discoverer of the dead body. I'm just pushing all of these, because I actually don't know the answer. I didn't pretend to be anything. I really was the first to discover the victim's body. I suppose that's true. So then you are yielding to my statements. Don't be foolish. I still insist that you are the killer, but in that sense, you really were the first to discover the body to be dead. No matter what I say, she seems dead on making me out to be the killer. Her logic is reasonably sound, and the large majority of it reflects the truth.
But there is one point about it that is not quite right. I'm trying to think of what that is. Let's look at the evidence! Picked up off the floor in front of the elevator. That doesn't have anything to do with anything. Found the body. Was hit on the back of the head. That doesn't prove anything. Doesn't prove anything. Was taken out of the display case in the in-flight shop after. Oh, this was taken after the turbulence. So that might have something to do with it. Okay, I think what it was is I just got the wrong statement. I'm thinking... Oh, wow, I can't believe I didn't think about this. I was like, there's no statement that specifically proves this wrong, and then... There we go. Okay, I just got the wrong one. The fact that you took this piece of evidence into account in your testimony is to be commended. Your legal prowess is certainly something to be feared. Evidence and logic. Essential tools that those who would stand in a courtroom must master. But what if there was a fake piece of evidence thrown into the mix? A fake? This Mr. iFly Piggy Bank. It's just such a fake. Wait, what? This Mr. iFly Piggy Bank is just such a fake. It is not the real murder weapon. What? Okay, that's what he's getting at. The timing of when the bank was taken from the shop is important. It was taken after the turbulence had occurred. But then, what about the blood on the bank? What do you make of that? I assume it was added after the murder, when the oh, of course. They bloodied the weapon after they killed him. Makes sense. Looking at it this way, the killer basically did 3 things after the turbulence. After exiting the elevator... Oh, it's Silhouette Man from Danganronpa. It's his cousin. The killer brought the suitcase to the shop and left it there. Then the killer proceeded to pick the bank up off from the floor and took it to fabricate a fake murder weapon by hitting the victim on the head. And then he reached down and decided to rub my chest. I don't know why he was doing that. But whatever. Finally, the victim's wallet was planted on my personage. In my pocket, to be precise. Everything was done so that I would be framed for the murder of Mr. Abby Hicks. You there? Yes, ma'am. Other than this piggy bank, was anything else resembling a murder weapon found? We didn't find anything in this lounge or in the shop that could be used as one, ma'am. Most of the items that could have been used were broken during the turbulence. And the remaining items all tested negative for any trace of blood. I see. Well, Miles Edgeworth, it appears that your stall tactics are at an end. It is possible that it's just hidden somewhere, sir. No, wait. Gumshoe is pretty smart this time. If the criminal had wanted to hide the weapon in a safer place, I think the weapon would have been hidden in the same place as the bloody cloth. Exactly what I was thinking. Because the cloth was hidden inside that suitcase, it signals to me that the killer had not prepared a more secure place to hide the evidence. Which means that the real murder weapon is either still on the murderer's personage, or it's still at the real crime scene. Who? Oh, it's just her again. I was like, what now? There is one more possibility. And what would that be? That piggy bank is in fact the real weapon. But didn't we just... Just let me finish! The killer took the bank out from the display case before the turbulence by opening the lock on the display case door. And it was at that time that the glass pane in the door was broken. I'd say that it's a perfectly reasonable line of reasoning, wouldn't you? Let's see, so that means that the killer had the key to the display case. Francisca, the person you're talking about... Not so fast, I'm not finished. The person I'm talking about also committed another sin. She tricked the captain and granted you permission to conduct your investigation. Yes, it's in the sin of lying.
It isn't the sin of lying. Speaking of which, I recall that you also wished to speak with her. Yes. Very well, permission granted, but only if I can sit in on your interrogation. Do we understand each other? Oh, damn, I'm getting the hang of the voice now. I have no intention of interrogating her. But you are welcome to accompany me if you wish. Mr. Nario is in the flight attendant's room. Let's move. Don't follow me. Good. The music is so happy for a murder. Do 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 do. So you're the one that poked around inside this plane without the captain's permission. Deviating from the flight attendant's manual is very unbecoming, you know. What were you hoping to accomplish by doing that? Miss Tenario! Ah, Mr. Edgeworth, you're here too? Can you please help us and shed some light on why you did what you did? Alright. Thank you! You know, people have been pretty, willing and helpful in this game. Like, there's no one I've had to specifically prod at for information. Aw, what's up? Why did you lie about receiving the captain's permission like that? Because I didn't think I would be able to get his permission. Well, what do you mean? The captain, he only has his ears for Cammy. I spoke with the captain a little earlier myself. He definitely seems to be rather taken with Miss Melee, for unknown reasons. Yes, very unknown reasons. Yes, and on top of that, I had mistakenly accused Mr. Edgeworth of being the killer. I wanted to make amends. In that case, please allow me to thank you for what you did. Thanks to you, I was able to clear myself of all charges. Really? You're able to prove your innocence? Oh, thank goodness. Miss Tenario, is it? There is one more thing I'd like to ask you. You were in the in-flight shop just before the turbulence, weren't you? Please answer honestly. Yes, I was. And why were you there? Well, why the sudden hesitation? Francisca seems to have struck a nerve. All I did was go check up on the shop like I always do. You're saying it was for work, then? Yes, I'm in charge of the shop, so I have to keep an eye on it. I don't have any reason to go there otherwise. After your visit to the shop, you paid a visit to this room, correct? Yes, I came back to freshen up and adjust my makeup. I'm sorry, but there isn't much else to tell. The scenario seems to have no reason other than duty to go to the shop. But is that all there is? Maybe you should ask her about that thing. What thing? What are you talking about? Is it this thing? Hey. Oh, that's right. I had to push present. There we go. Hey, yo, what about this? I'm sorry, Mr. Edgeworth. I don't know how to answer you. As a professional flight attendant, I'm a failure. Oh, don't speak that way about yourself. You're trying your hardest. She must be worn out from the long questioning session she just went through. Suitcase. If you'd please take a look at this for me, Miss Tenario. Oh, that suitcase! Yes, about this suitcase. You are the one who designed it, correct? You should probably stop. It hurts my eyes. Seriously, my body hurts just from looking at it. And I think I figured out something else out about it. The suitcase is the reason you went to the shop, isn't it? There's nothing you won't find out eventually, is there? Won't you please tell us more about this suitcase? Yes, I was interested in seeing how the suitcases I had designed were selling. I know that as a service professional, I'm not supposed to care. But I really wanted to know. And I was glad to see that, that it was the last one there. The last one? Oh, shit, that means there's only one there when she went to check. So you're saying, Miss Scenario, that the suitcase in question was the last one? Yes, they're just so popular, they're practically flying off the shelves. Yes, and I wish they'd fly out of the plane, but we all don't get our dreams, do we? That's not exactly the impression I got. Well, maybe Borginian people would love it. The one in the shop is most definitely the last one. We're currently looking at that suitcase. Really? Then I guess we sold all of them. Thank you very much for taking the last one. I didn't say anything about buying it. Then say you'll buy it. I'm sorry, I can't. But why? Oh, the animations are just so endearing. I think it'd go great with your complexion, Mr. Edgeworth. It really suits you. I guarantee it personally as a service professional. Well, that is... How should I put this? It's hideous. Well, what? Maybe that was a bit too direct. Moving on. Screw your feelings, they don't matter. My issue with the suitcase isn't the design, it's the number of them remaining. Remaining? There were 2 suitcases in the in-flight shop when I investigated it. 2, but that's impossible. I'm sure there was only 1. Looks like their story has generated quite the contradiction. When I left the shop, I'm positive there was only 1 suitcase left. Something is amiss here. What could be the meaning of this inconsistency? By the way, Miss Tenario, what is one of those suitcases doing here? That's... I thought you said there was only 1 left. That one is, it's mine. I've used it for a very long time now. She used it for a long time? I think not. Miss Tenario, I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't lie to me. Excuse me? I may not be able to look at people really hard like Apollo, and I may not be able to see magic psycho locks on the screen, but I can tell you're a liar. I don't believe for even 1 second that you've used this for a very long time. What proves this hasn't been used for many... yeah, the price tag. Still on there. Take that! Tell me, Miss Tenario, is it your habit to keep the price tag pristine on your suitcases? What is the meaning of this? Why do you lie about this suitcase? Despite having faith in her design sense, the sales numbers made her cry bitter tears. The truth is becoming increasingly clear to me. Miss Tenario, I think I understand. I know what you're trying to hide. Now then, the suitcase was originally... I'm Edgeworth. I haven't even passed high school yet. It was originally in... the in-flight shop the flight attendants drew in first class. I thought I saw one of these in first class. So you can tell the price tag is still on the suitcase. One can only assume it was out on the floor for sale in the shop. And the person who bought this suitcase was... you. It was you, wasn't it? Oh, that's so sad to have to buy your own product to feel good about yourself. That's terrible. It was you, wasn't it, Miss Tenario? I'd hate to say this, but the suitcase that you designed... it hasn't sold very well, has it? You didn't need to say it out loud. You saw how poorly this design that you poured your heart into was selling. And you were deeply hurt. That's why you wanted to make it look like it was selling by buying it yourself. Isn't that right? Then, the reason you went to the shop and came back here was... I'm sorry. All I really have to do is my job. I was overjoyed when my design was chosen. I thought that maybe I had finally accomplished something. Well, no one will accomplish as much as Edgeworth has. But the suitcase didn't sell. It's because of the design, isn't it? All because it's, as you put it, hideous. Taxes are also a bitch. Don't blame yourself, honey. I can't say they chose a great place in which to sell them either. We weren't selling a single one, and they were just sitting there collecting dust. I felt so bad seeing them there day in and day out. So I decided to buy one for every flight I worked. You buy one every single time you work a flight. I see, so in order to keep your resolution, you went and bought one today as well. Yes, and here's my receipt for that purchase. This receipt is clearly time-stamped 5:40 a.m. Suitcase receipt data jotted in the organizer. You know, it seems like there's a lot more, afternoon murders than there are morning murders in this series. I feel like. The truth is, there's still a bunch of them left unsold. They're planning to scrap the remaining ones at the end of this flight. The scenario, where are these other suitcases? They should all be down in the cargo hold. Then the suitcases the killer used could very well have come from the cargo hold. Mr. Edgeworth, you don't think that the killer used one of my suitcases to...
Yes, I do. The killer used one of your beloved suitcases to move the victim's body.
How could they? Those suitcases were meant to be faithful partners to our passengers on their trips. That's all I ever wished for them to be.
Well, they weren't either of these things, so you don't have to worry. Miss Tenario, is there any way... Oh, god damn it, he pushed the button. Zeno, what's wrong with you? Get your hands in check. I'm sorry, Edgeworth, just stop. I will yell at you all day.
The only other way is just through that door there.
And what about security?
That door has no special lock installed because just to enter this room, you need a special key card that only crew members have access to.
Which means that the culprit is someone who can enter this room. Oh, I would be, like, ultimately surprised if it wasn't Big Boobs.
Sleepy lady.
Eliminating the passengers and leaving only the crew members as potential suspects.
I can't believe it.
Yes, Francisca, interrupting again.
Going on these wild goose chases, you're a disgrace to the Von Karma name.
And what do you mean by that?
The suitcase came from the cargo hold. That fact alone tells the whole story.
Yes, which is why I said the culprit must be a crew member who used their key card.
Miles Edgeworth, you're proposing that the killer rode the elevator from the cargo hold, correct?
Yes, that's the only realistic possibility.
That other attendant, Miss Melee. I asked her earlier, and she said she had this to say.
Francisca got information out of Miss Melee.
In order to make the elevator go down to the cargo hold, a different key card is required.
A different one?
Yes, and the only person who holds that particular card is you, Miss Rhoda Tenario, and only you. Oh shit, I was hoping they would figure that part out.
What? Is this true, Miss Tenario?
It's not true. Yes, in that key card, I keep that key card in my locker at all times.
Would you please show us that card right now?
Yes, hold on.
Pulls out a gun and shoots Edgeworth.
I don't believe it.
What's wrong?
The key card, it's gone.
Ha ha ha, very clever. Pretending that your key card was stolen when in fact you're just trying to hide it from us.
You've really thought this through. Wait, it's not like that. You can tell us about the situation, about what it's like down at the station, officer. Arrest this woman.
Yes, ma'am.
I can't even imagine how many fake arrests Von Karma has done. But Mr. Edgeworth,